Good afternoon, talkSPORT Tourist to Social. Sam Ellard and Rory Jennings are with you until 5 o'clock this evening. Rory, what's going on today,
I'm having
mate?
a night. It's not my lucky day. It's gone from being my lucky day to not being my lucky day.
Why was it your lucky day?
Drop of a hat. Well, it was a lucky day because my phone, which is very temperamental, I plugged it in and it started charging.
I've never seen someone celebrate before when they plug their phone into a charger.
Mate, it's loads of jeopardy. It's very touch and go.
I would have thought for a man of your
I've got an iPhone
stature...
8.
Yeah, I would have thought you'd be... Why have you got such a low iPhone?
I'm not a billionaire, mate. They're very expensive to buy new phones.
I think you do right for yourself, don't you?
No, mate. The wolf's at the door. So I have a very old phone. Also, I don't like spending money on things like that. Phones and... You should see the car I drive.
Though, won't you?
Mate, I drive...
What are you running around in?
Banger.
Is it?
Yeah.
What is it?
A Vauxhall Mocha. But
Hey,
it's old,
don't knock a Vauxhall Mocha.
But it's old and dented. I crashed it a long time ago and I've never had it repaired. It's dreadful. I don't like spending on those things.
The Vauxhall Mocha?
It's the
An
oldest
old
car.
one.
Mate, it costs like £5,000 10 years ago.
Is it really? Okay. Yeah. But it gets you made to be safely.
It gets me from A
That's
to
the most
B.
important thing. Okay, maybe not safely, but it gets you there. Rory, let's now talk all things Chelsea, shall we? We briefly touched on this a little earlier on in our sort of early season review. But Chelsea currently go into this international break, having played 7 games, 4th in the table. And it's a big game, by the way, isn't it? First one off the international break, Liverpool versus Chelsea. Kind of both teams, as we mentioned, have maybe been the surprise package so far this season. You fancy a chance of going to Anfield?
In as much as anyone can fancy their chances going to Anfield, Anfield's always one of the most difficult away games in the league, isn't it? Regardless of context, regardless of opposition, regardless of what's going on, if you are playing at Anfield, you are most likely going to get beat. This is the first test that Chelsea have had this season as well, since the opening day. The first proper test. We're playing a team that are buoyant. We're playing a team that are capable of winning the league. We're playing a team that are in the ascendancy. And the last time that we did that, we got well and truly beat. So it's important that that doesn't happen. I don't think we need to go there and win, but I think that we need to go there and get something out of the game. Because what's not going to be good enough is, off the back of dropping points at home to Nottingham Forest, to then go away to Anfield and get beat, all of a sudden any talk of being a shoo-in for the Champions League, I mean, literally any talk of the Premier League is over. Because the margins are so high.
I don't believe some people say that.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Chelsea cannot win the league, in my opinion. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's ludicrous. It's just nonsensical. Because the points tally that we have learned over history that you need these days to win the league is going to be in excess of 90.
Yeah, easily. Yeah.
This Chelsea team will not get 90 points. You don't draw with Nottingham Forest,
Palace at home,
and
Forest
Crystal
at home.
Palace at home.
Yeah.
And accrue 90 points. You just don't. But our away form has been good. So going to Anfield, it's in a way, it's a bad fixture for Liverpool. You don't really want to play Chelsea. But it's also a very difficult fixture for us. There's so much going on. My fear is that I believe Liverpool have the best front three in the league, and Chelsea's Achilles heel is our back line. So those two things combined.
Do you remember the Liverpool team that nearly won the league under Brendan Rodgers in 13-14?
Yeah, the Suarez.
They had Suarez. They were so good going forward. Yeah, Sturridge and Coutinho there. Sterling played that season as well. But team going forward so good. Suarez was arguably like the third best player in the world then, behind Messi and Ronaldo. He was that good. But defensively, I think despite nearly winning the league, there was 2 or 3 teams in the bottom half of the table that season that conceded less goals than Liverpool that came second.
Yeah.
I feel like this Chelsea team this season could be quite similar. I think you're going to win a lot of games, 5-3, 5-2, 4-2. I think you're going to be so good going forward. But as you mentioned there, just defensively,
I just feel like it's such a flimsy approach, though. It's such a vacuous approach. If that is the way that you go into football matches, it might look good, it might dazzle, you might be first on match of the day, it might be exciting. But ultimately, you'll win the square root of nothing. Yeah, that's what will happen. And Brendan Rodgers' Liverpool team are a good example of that. There are lots of examples of teams that adopted that philosophy. Like when I was a kid, I remember Tottenham had a famous 5. It was Dumitrescu, Popescu, Klinsmann, Anderton, and Barnby. I think Sheringham must have been in it. Actually, maybe not Barnby. But it was like 5 dazzling attackers, Ozzy Ardiles, go for the jugular, play some beautiful football in the spirit of Tottenham, the Tottenham way, and all that. They won nothing. They won nothing because they couldn't defend. They won nothing because they had no real shape. It was exciting, pulsating, good football to watch. You know, the shelf side at Tottenham was on the edge of their seat, but ultimately you win nothing if you play like that. So people will try and frame this in a way that is seen as being positive. People will say, oh God, we're getting great to watch Chelsea. I think you said it, Sam. You were at the Chelsea Forest game. You said it was a fantastic fixture.
It was great, yeah.
But you do realise, in my opinion, and I'm probably in the minority here, but it's totally not the point. It's totally not the point. Your entertainment, and I say you because you were there, but I mean the world's entertainment is completely irrelevant when it comes to my football team. I don't want you to be entertained.
No, absolutely not.
I'm more than happy for you to be bored stiff and Chelsea win the game 2-0, scoring after 8 minutes and scoring after 83 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, stifling the game, killing the game. Because
would you seriously rather that than me go and enjoy watching Chelsea while covering the game for talkSPORT?
Yeah. I think
me and you were friends, Rory.
Generally speaking, entertaining teams. Generally speaking, entertaining is a word that is slightly misleading because people find it entertaining because there's loads of jeopardy.
Yeah, it's chaotic, isn't it? Right?
Chaotic.
Yeah, 100%.
Like what you want really, and most teams that succeed, Pep Guardiola's team are a great example of this. The one word that I think you can use to describe Pep Guardiola's teams, and this is as applicable to that unbelievable Barcelona team that he built as it is to this unbelievable Man City team that he built. The word is control.
Yeah.
Control the game. You are totally dominating the tempo of the game. You are totally dictating the rhythm of the game. You are playing it completely on your own terms, just as Mourinho used to do, just as Antonio Conte would do. Good managers don't really entertain. You know, there are exceptions. I think Carlo Ancelotti's quite an entertaining manager, attacking, gung-ho almost, but he's an exception to the rule. Chelsea being entertaining, it's great for you, but I don't know if it's going to be beneficial to us and for the furtherance of Chelsea long term.
I think we've all run out of superlatives to describe Cole Palmer, so I'm not going to ask you a question about Cole Palmer. But I think another player that I've been really impressed with this season, Moises Caicedo. We know he came for big money. We know last season he didn't do very well, but it looks like very early on this season, it looks like we're starting to maybe get back to the Caicedo of Brighton, who cost you guys over £100 million.
What I would say as well, Sam, you are correct. There were moments last year where he didn't look well. There were moments last year where his relationship with Enzo Fernandez looked strained, and I think that you put that down to the recruitment. Chelsea's paid £250 million for two midfielders who it looked like couldn't play together. And Enzo Fernandez dropped out of the team. Conor Gallagher and Moises Caicedo played together, and Chelsea started winning some games. But overall, Caicedo at Chelsea, the start was dodgy. The very start was dodgy. But overall, he's been a brilliant player for us, you know. Like, whether you want to debate if he's worth 115 million, whether you want to debate could he have done better, whether you want to debate the fact that it was such a poor start, they're all legitimate concerns and legitimate conversations. But I would honestly say that of the Todd Boehly era at Chelsea, the Clear Lake era, of all of the signings that have arrived, Cole Palmer's in a different league to everyone.
Of course.
But the next best signing has been Moises Caicedo, even bringing into the equation the ludicrous amount of money that we spent on him. Because
the second best signing, you reckon?
I can't think of anybody.
I was going to say,
I can't think of anybody. I can't think of anybody better than him. I mean, maybe if you wanted to do, if you wanted to be complex about it and go, what about value for money? Maybe Nicholas Jackson. Nicholas Jackson has been better value. Gusto is a good shout. Yeah, Gusto is a good shout. I feel like Gusto's slightly overrated, but he is a good player. Don't get me wrong. But what he's not, he isn't a Reece James. He's not. No. He's just not even close, really.
Does anyone know when Reece is expected back?
I mean, do
you know what I saw, Sam?
I saw one of the most devastating shorts. On YouTube they do those shorts. That he hasn't played 90 minutes for it's a ridiculous amount of time, and I've got a terrible feeling that Reece James, in my opinion, is the best right back in the world when fit, when playing to his full potential. The problem is
better than Trent.
I think he's far better than Trent. Yeah,
far better than Trent.
He's a far better right back. Of course he is. He's actually nowadays he's a far better right back.
Why do you think he's far better than Trent?
I mean, in every metric that you need to be a good right back, Reece James excels.
Well, he's not a better passer than Trent, is he?
I wouldn't say that's a. I think
in 2024, I think in the current day and age, I think passing is very important.
Reece James on the ball is excellent as well. He might not be. I
would say he wasn't good,
but he's not better.
He's not Trent though.
But you can still be an elite level passer and not be better than Trent.
But you said he's better than Trent in every aspect. He's certainly not better than Trent on the ball, which is the big aspect now of midfielders. Certainly ones that move into midfield.
Reece James isn't going to be a hybrid midfielder.
Gusto did on Sunday, so
but I don't think that. Yeah, Gusto did, but Reece James didn't, because Reece James won't do that. Reece James will be an archetypal traditional fullback, and I think that on his day he is the best. He is the best in the world. Like, Reece James is never caught out at the back post in a Champions League final asleep watching Vinicius win the game against his boyhood club. It's literally never happened, whereas it has happened for Trent Alexander Arnold. I like Alexander Arnold. I think he's a very good player. But the chasm between at being a right back, the chasm between Reece James on his day and Trent Alexander Arnold is enormous. The problem is I've got a real worry that Reece James is going to end up being one of those players that plays 9 games a season and is perennially injured, and we're perennially talking about him coming back.
You know how mentally tough that must be for him, for a guy that would have worked his socks off to
for me,
and for him as well, right?
Team,
being the actual player that doesn't play any football at all. And just in terms of Enzo Maresca, there was a lot of talk about when he came. Oh, is he ready? Is he good enough? Is he a big enough name? Is he got enough experience and all that? And that was still yet to be decided. But does it feel a bit more calm at the moment? Does it feel like now he's got off to a decent start? Solid, not great, solid though. And any noise around him, for the time being anyway, has kind of just gone away, right?
It's amazing. It's amazing what a few wins will do at a football club.
Football fans are fickle, right?
Very. But it's also amazing, just in terms of, even when you try not to be fickle, even when you try to provide sort of genuine, unbiased analysis. So sitting here with you, I'm not sitting in the Matthew Harding lower and I try and see the wood for the trees. But you can't. You can't, because a few wins, it really does cloud the way that you feel about the game. And a few good performances, and Cole Palmer in the team, the best player in the league, is currently a Chelsea player, which... I mean, when was the last time that was genuinely...
What, you got the best player in the league?
Yeah.
Hazard, probably, right?
Yeah. But at the time, I think everybody will agree that Cole Palmer is the best player in the league now. I think most people will acknowledge that.
100%.
Whereas
Hazard probably
when Hazard was, I believe, the best player in the league, I think there was a lot of people that would have still said it was Salah.
Yeah, sure.
I think there would have been the argument.
And prime Hazard would have come across prime Bale as well. At times, maybe there's an argument there.
And the problem that we had with Eden Hazard was, look, he was, say, for his final season at Chelsea, we were a one-man team. We had that era of Hazard, but there were a couple of seasons where Hazard literally didn't turn up. You know, like the season where he stopped Tottenham winning the league, the season where he scored that goal.
Leave Molly alone, by the way.
He basically, I saw you give Gareth Bale and kind of give the nod, so I thought, hang on, I'm going to equalise this. There are no Tottenham favouritism in here, but Eden Hazard didn't turn up that whole season. He turned up that day, but you know that was May.